history books, they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots, the maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I was born in the Dublin street where the lion runs do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra. Come tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus say had nice bows and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra. Come let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell, and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Oh, come out, you pretty sons, come out and fight without your guns. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her
Chat.
how the IRA
Chat, I'm
made you
rushing.
run hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra.
Hello, chat. Chat. I'm doing a thing. We're doing a thing. It's a different kind of show today. We're going to be talking to someone who knows about a thing. A couple of Burkes, and then we're going to do stuff. I don't really know what the fuck's going on with this. This could be really cool, or what, I don't know. But either way, it's what we're doing. So, my display name is Ibrahim Moizus, which is a Key and Peele
Yeah, we
joke.
really appreciate that. Thank you very much for the £5 gifted sub.
Oh, you
honestly,
love
that is
wonderful people.
absolutely incredible.
So cool.
So I'm sick of all these people being really nice to us. Let's move on with the show, right? Let's. All these people are being absolutely lovely, and it's making me sick. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. So in the back we've got there. Thank you very much for joining and being here, Kevin. Hello, how you doing, man?
Oh, hello.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? How are you, pair of Burkes?
We're Birkin quite well.
Nice,
We're
nice.
doing all right. We're muddling through.
It's nice to welcome. I put a special shirt on specially for the occasion, as you can probably tell.
That's beautiful. Should I go on camera because it looks a bit weird?
By all means.
Really, there's no pressure to at all.
No, I
No,
will. I will. Hang on. Oh, no problem. I just need to put me blinds
Doing a
down.
bit all right. Just can't turn my head very fast because I've got perforated eardrum and an infection in it.
Oh God, how'd
which is-
you manage
He just
that?
wants you to know he's not
I
well.
don't know. I don't know. It just
What's
happened.
it
I woke up
know?
with pain in my ear, so I'm hoping something didn't crawl in there. But we can know. That's what everyone hopes, I guess.
Well, yeah, very much so. Yes. No, that's not right at all, is it? There we go.
Oh, it's there's devices disconnected. You might not be able to use your thing.
He's done what I do, hasn't he? He's done what I do. He's pressed the wrong button.
No, he's it's. I don't think his. I think that the camera isn't connected enough to allow permissions and things. Possibly, if not, maybe it'll have to
We'll
be.
see. That's where my money is. My money's in on a fat fingered.
Okay.
What's that 5 gifts business there?
You can't access the devices.
We went through it. Honestly,
that was Michael. Okay.
It's that we went through that. That's Michael from earlier. We had and we also had some super chats as well. Thank you guys so much. And while Kev's getting his stuff sorted out, so we can jump back on the panel, I think we'll probably sort of give you guys a bit of a rundown of what we're hoping to do today. So we've been spending quite. Of the sort of lower rungs and the bottom tiers and things. Oh, there we go. Do you want to give us a thumbs up when you're ready?
Yep.
Perfect. The Alkenvard. And we have Kevin. There you go.
Hey, that's better.
Hello, everyone. How are we all?
Good to see you, man. And thank you for coming on. It's really cool.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah. I don't really know what's going on in terms of this show, but I'm ready and raring.
Okay.
Right, well, we've got a plan. We've made a bit of a plan, and our idea is so. We'll just jump in with it then. So firstly, thank you though for being here and for your viewers and that, for giving us the opportunity to share some ideas that we've had with the wider audience with regarding to the far right and that. We'll be covering some pretty heavy stuff, but I'm also going to try and make it as light as we can and make it as fun as we can. As deep and as dark as some of the subject matter is, it's also filled with a range of really quirky, really eccentric individuals that, were it not for the danger they represent, would not be out of place in some sort of like sci-fi horror movie. So there'd be opportunity to sort of point and laugh, but it's more so about understanding how the sort of far right structure works.
So, I mean, do you want to?
I'll crack on with that bit then. Sorry, Dad. So the plan is we're going to introduce you to an idea that ourselves and the ACoupleOf family have been working on. It's a model of the modern far right ecosystem. It's split into tiers and it is sort of cyclical as well. It sounds really, really boring. It's not that boring, I promise.
Okay.
And we're going to take a look within the structure and provide examples of some of the people that occupy some of the different tiers. We've got 5 tiers in total. Honestly, some of these people should be on the set of some obscure comedy movie. It's mad. But we do have a bit of a knowledge gap. So we've identified this structure of how the far right operates from the populist sort of mainstream figures all the way down to your far right auditors and things. I don't know if you've heard of them, you know, those vloggers and stuff that you see. Yeah, those guys. And we're showing how they interact with each other, how they depend on each other and everything else. But
there is structure there, isn't there? There is. It's not all as chaotic as it seems. It's structured, the whole thing.
It is. Absolutely. And but the first tier itself though, so like it's structured in tiers, and the first tier is like the establishment tier, and we reckon that you've probably got a lot of knowledge on establishment figures such as like Rupert Murdoch and like Nigel Farage and people like that, and we can sort of, you know, figure out and explain it better to people so that they can take this information, because if they understand how the far right works, they can understand how to combat it better, and they can understand that this new phenomena that you see on YouTube of these people, they're not citizen journalists, they're not, you know, these auditors, they are far right activists, and they do a really important and vital role for that community. So I'll just quickly run through what we've developed here. So like we've got these different tier systems. So at tier 1, I'll just I've got you'll have to forgive the AI-ness, but I need to don't have a very large team, but we've kind of put it into a tier structure here, like it's a bit easier. So at tier 1, you've got your establishment figures, you've got your political figures. They occupy the populist to mainstream pipeline. They use like legislative power in mainstream media to access a whole range of people and validate radical ethno-cultural concepts. They normalize rhetoric and provide, like, you know, mainstream airtime and stuff. Then you've got your tier 2s. these are the mobilizers. These are the people like your Tommy Robinsons and things like that. They capitalize on the social cries and the mainstream media stuff. Although they're blacklisted from the mainstream media, they still manage to, you know, use the trauma and everything else and all the stories that are in the mainstream media as a vehicle to, you know, generate crowds, get memberships, get donations, and to, you know, and to work that in there. They depend on the first tier to be able to make it normalized so that the mainstream media can promote these stories so that they can then, you know, run with it. Then at tier 3, you've got your fringe political parties. These are the people that are seeking electoral viability by capitalizing on that normalized rhetoric of tier 1 and using the physical crowds organized by tier 2. So they normalize more extreme rhetoric and provide amplification, and sort of like they use these sites to network and to grow their voter base as well. And at the same time as well, you've got tier 4, which are the sort of hardline extremists. They're the clandestine extremist cells, your people like Ryan Ferguson and stuff like that. They're the folks who turn up at these events that have been organised by the Tommy Robinsons. And for the folks that go there and think, well, you know what, Nicholas Tenconi isn't racist enough for me. I think I'm going to go and, you know, they've got these other little groups that they can filter into. And then we fall into tier 5, which are the auditors. They collaborate directly with tier 4. They collaborate with all of them, to be fair. They amplify their messaging and they use that extremist content to put on platforms with low moderation, such as YouTube, to be able to capitalize and create money that way and be paid by the larger companies like YouTube and everything else. They depend on all of this. It's a cycle that feeds itself. It starts off with the sort of agenda setting people, the people whose conversation influences policy when they talk, influencing headlines. And then because it's in the headlines, it can then be mobilized by the activist base, who will then use other headlines as well, like the trauma that we saw with like Henry Nowick. Things like that's a great example.
It appears to have died for me. Apologies, chap. It was going well, and then it went not so well.
We're going to go through the tier list, and we're going to look at the different individuals, and we're going to pick out some of the more eccentric ones from the different tiers. Did you manage to hear any of that? Was the audio right at your end?
I heard most of it. Yes, we got through to it. So
I thought you'd fallen asleep. It's okay.
No. It went a bit. It went silent for me for some reason, so I just refreshed the page. Yes. So in terms of that image, then, should we go through some examples of the kinds of people that fit into these tiers?
Oh yeah,
you absolutely should. So we'll start. We think that like when it comes to the tiers, because there's 5 tiers. When it starts with like establishment figures and ends up with like on the ground activists, we've been dealing with a lot of on the ground activists. Like on a, you know, we've spoken to them a lot. We've had to, you know, expose a lot of the stuff that they're doing. We've been, you know, really up their arse basically. We know who's who, and we've got a lot of knowledge about that side of the tier. But at the top of it, I think that you've probably got a lot more information on the establishment figures, how they operate, and what, you know, where they sit in the grander scheme of things. So I'm hoping we'll start with some examples of tier 5. We'll just show you some wacky, quirky characters.
They're an entertaining bunch, are they not?
Recognize names. Sorry?
They are an entertaining bunch, tier 5. I mean, we know what they're doing, but they have some characters, don't they?
They are.
Yeah,
but
carry on then.
in this tier, let me show you now. I'm gonna have to.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Sorry, lefty tech issues. Everything's all a bit slow. But yeah, at the first point though, we've got Edge of the Matrix. Are you familiar with Edge of the Matrix at all? This content creator.
I am not at all. No, I'm very much out of the loop on this.
Right.
Yeah. It's a fun loop to not be. It's better to be out of it than in it. It gets a bit crazy, but it is worth knowing. So I'm just gonna, once they've loaded into the stream, it's all running a bit slow today. Sorry. There we go. So this is Edge of the Matrix. Edge of the Matrix he's a lot of things, but the sandwich board craze is something that he started. So he started this sandwich board craze amongst tier 5, and it spread like an illness. It started with this one dude, and then it metastasized.
Yeah, no, I've seen this meme of them wearing sandwich boards. They're all up to it now. Yes.
Yeah.
They are. Well, this was patient 0. It's now not uncommon to see like, you know, these far right wankers sporting this sort of end of the
What-
world is near look. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's this? There's no such thing as a transgender something.
Oh,
Right.
he's absolute anti-trans, isn't he? He's
And then the front of it will say trans women are not women and things like that. It's honestly disgusting. But this guy happens to be quite a unique person. So there's a couple of incidents that he's been involved in. He was once like a solo operator in his sort of creepy blinders cap. But then he was so overcome by bigotry because he was one of the people that went and harassed Hannah Spencer when she was in Manchester. But he was so overcome with his bigotry.
Right.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah, he's one of those.
Yes, I remember him now. Yeah.
He was so bigoted that his like he just mitosed, if you will, like he went through a form of mitosis and split into two knobheads in sandwich boards. Trans women and men thing.
And it's so annoying because that is a fucking glorious beard.
Yes, it is, isn't it? His head's on upside down, though, unfortunately.
A person that horrible shouldn't have that glorious a beard. It's not fair.
No, and it is a lovely beard. The bastard.
There should be rules against it. What will the Beard Council think?
True.
But sorry. Right. So yeah, the next thing though is so this guy obviously doing what he does. He's a very typical sort of tier 5er. He's the penis goblin, as we call him, that wears the anti-trans sandwich board. He's the one that chased Hannah down in Manchester along with a bunch of other tier 5 wankers. And he is it was as he was running over, others started to sort of chase, and then the fights broke out and everything else. And then he's most famous though for his penis obsession. He'll walk around events like this and tell people that he knows exactly what's in their trousers. His most famous line is going, Hannah, can a woman have a penis? And then he shouted that repeatedly.
Over. Hannah.
Yeah.
Chasing her, walking sideways to keep up with her in his sandwich board.
Yeah. Hence the penis goblin, I imagine. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's very obsessed with penises. He constantly asks if a woman can have a penis, and the obvious answer is yes. They just don't want yours.
True. And also, if there are any ladies out there with very poor standards, you can have mine as well.
Other penises are available, just so you're aware.
Yeah, wouldn't want to be biased in advertising cock there, no.
It's getting towards penis election season, isn't it? So, you know.
Go on, lad. Yes.
So that's your tier 5s. Just a little bit more background about tier 5 so we understand how they operate.
There's loads of them, though, isn't there? There's loads of them.
The far-right vloggers, the auditors, the street-level activists, they broadcast directly to social media. Their primary function is like the digital translation and magnification of that rhetoric that's generated by the upper tiers. So they wouldn't exist if it wasn't for them. And, you know, and vice versa, they wouldn't be as popular as they do now. Because as scary as it is, a lot of these people reach millions.
Yeah,
they have significant reach.
Yeah, but I mean, as with all things that are dangerous, there's also a danger to themselves, I suppose, as well. I don't know if you saw but a lot of the convictions surrounding the Southampton riots following the murder of Nowak was using footage from these tier 5 twats. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly that.
What we're hoping is now that. I mean, we're hoping now that there will be an upswelling of hatred from these people that are protesting against these auditors, and maybe put an end to it. Let's hope so. Anyway.
Well, they did in Ireland. So because of what happened in Southampton, so many people getting nicked, and then I don't know who it was, but someone started making it very public that it was because of auditors' footage, and they're not helping your cause per se. Or as much as they're getting a lot of attention, they're also getting their own kind of attention, like police. So Northern Ireland told figures like Cozzy and all these other figures, tier 5 wankers, do not bring your camera over here. And for the first time ever in their lives, when they heard it in a Northern Irish accent, they were like, okay, we won't do that. We respect your right to not be filmed in public.
Yeah.
And, which is amazing because they just don't believe in that. Normally, it's amazing to see them turn around like the
when you're in Northern Ireland, you don't want to be asked twice. You just don't. You just don't.
No.
You just don't.
No, you don't. But I mean,
The
they
big
live
issue
on
that they've
this.
got as well
They
is
live on this thing like they've got a. It's almost a chant, isn't it? That we'll do what we want. We can go anywhere. We can film anything. And all, it's almost a chant they have, and that disappeared as soon as that, like say, that Northern Ireland accent came out. Ooh.
And there was an incident of a TikToker who went to Northern Ireland and had a petrol bomb thrown at his car.
Which is just
maybe
a very.
they're not as in with that crowd as they thought.
That's just a Belfast welcome. That's fine. That's just they're just saying hello. Yeah.
Like a Glasgow smile.
This is wetting your whistle in Belfast. It's how they
Well,
do it.
it did strike me as really amazing that they were blaming immigrants for racial or religious violence in Belfast.
Yeah, we had a chat with Andrew Luke. I think the first time we ever had a conversation was on like a joint stream. Andrew Luke was streaming as well, and yeah, we were talking about that in one of our streams last time, and it's just phenomenal how they're like they're going religious violence in Ireland. I know, must be the immigrants.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. The streets of Northern Ireland were peaceful, calm oases of tranquility before the Somalians turned up. What? What are you talking about? Look, my entire childhood was thinking, oh, when's the next bomb that a Christian who's fighting against other Christians in a Christian place is going to fucking plant? Like, that's, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
it is. It doesn't make any sense, and but that's the whole point, isn't it? It doesn't have to make sense. It's just about how they feel and what. Like when I was listening to news footage.
Yeah, literally it is, because we know statistically that there is no disproportionate crime wave from migrants. Migrants actually commit crime at basically the percentage of the population that they are. But yet the perception of crime from migrant populations is massively inflated from that. So the right wing have invented in their head that these people are dangerous and are becoming dangerous in response to a thing that they've been told is true and have imagined is true. But it isn't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that logic train, exactly correct. And then the next station is they start to see a lot of counter information. They start to see counter narratives. They see facts and things like that. And so what they do then is they start to filter out, because of their cognitive dissonance, they will actively filter out things that disagree with them and actively seek it. So a while ago there was I can't remember which particular riot it was, but when somebody
there've been so many
racial profile committed a certain crime, there was this whole riot that had kicked off at the time, and I am so very sorry. I've got a dog related problem. Give me 1 second, I need to let him back in. Sorry, I'm so sorry, my little cute dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. My point, way they filter out information. So they looked at articles and news outlets and things and saw these horrific stories. But if you look at those same outlets, you will see a whole host of horrible things committed by people with white faces as well. Yeah. But they actively filter out. They're like white blind when it comes to crimes. They just. Yeah, it's really weird how they've managed to do that. But I think it might be important to explain before we move on to the other tiers.
Well, I was just going to say before, this will get to the kind of leaders of the group, but this is not that acceptance of misinformation if it suits a narrative is certainly in evidence in various other of the tiers, because the Southport riots, one of the reasons they happened, of course, was because Andrew Tate, who I suppose would be tier 2. Told lies about the guy who Radicabani, the guy who'd done the crimes, on social media, and then a tier 1, Nigel Farage, deliberately exploiting that and repeating that information, even though it was bullshit. He just he'd made it up completely, but it was parroted by someone they see as an authority figure, and went and fucking did violent race riots because of it.
And the Farage riots, 100% exactly that. And then when tier 1 repeat the things that are said, from any of the other places, that once rhetoric becomes normalised, tier 1 have all these different tropes and conspiracies that they can just pick up on any of these disasters, use it as a vehicle, that grief and stuff, as a vehicle to push their insidious ideologies. They are that is exactly what they are. And I think that but tier 5 is made up of not just these so-called far-right vlogging auditors and things like that. It's made up of a whole range of different people that are out there, just activists and things like that. But it's important because when looking at people from tier 5, you'll hear the word auditor a lot. And have you heard that phrase before? Like auditors?
I have heard it, but I'll be honest, I don't know the etymology of it.
Right. So the term, I don't know the exact etymology of the word, but its origins in place, because a lot of the times when people use these phrases, it doesn't really mean anything. They just pick the word that they think fits. But originally in this country, there's a whole the stochastic auditor theory is a document that I recommend that everyone go and read. It's brilliant. It's by Concerned Netizen. It's on Google at the moment. It's a really brilliant document, and it explains how auditing started. And we can probably skip the main bit that went in America with the Rodney King stuff, catching crimes on camera, then realizing that you can, at least there's the court of public opinion that can hold some level of accountability and stuff, and they can't just get away with it. It kind of bled into the UK, and what we had was a range of people who did what was called the Pinnock principle. Photography is not a crime. These individuals would be stood outside of police stations and things, waiting for officers to tell them that they're not allowed to be filming. And if they're in a public space, of course they are. It was a form of protest, and it was a legitimate form of protest, because the police were telling you that you can't film in public spaces. If they were arresting someone, they'd snatch cameras. And so what these people would do is they'd start filming them, upload them to YouTube, and then it would go viral. And so even if the police would lie and whatever in court and say that, oh no, he was doing X, Y, and Z, we arrested him legally, there was actual evidence now, and it was live streamed and it was indisputable.
Are you suggesting that the our boys in blue, our brave blue line between anarchy and civilization, would lie in court about things they've done that are illegal?
I would never say such a thing.
Outrageous accusation, sir.
As if it could be
outrageous.
true.
But and so it was a genuine movement, and it grew. And because the confrontations between the police and the individual recording became so popular, it became a problem. The algorithm on YouTube works in a way that highlights the violently aggressive, it doesn't care what it is.
Oh, hang on. Time out. Every time I pull the bleeding thing, it cuts out, and I don't know why. It's very annoying, chat, isn't it? It's most annoying.
Your dog looked really cute then. Your dog looked really cute. When your dog linked its head up, it was in I know you've got that thing on your window that reflects the light, so it's like a prism. And the dog was all green and yellow, and that was cute.
It's a shame he's a shit most of the time. Okay.
But to make it as short as I can, it was a legitimate form of protest against police overstepping powers to account that was then hijacked because of the virality of it, I guess is the right word, but because of the ability to be able to generate money and go viral if there's a fight or if there's an argument, they started to become incentivized to find fights and arguments, which led them from police stations to security, like little security huts and things outside of like industrial estates. They would abuse receptionists, do anything they can to create some sort of controversy, some sort of argument, something that will go viral that they can keep making their money from. Then the far right hijacked it and they took it to protests. So this photography is not a crime is useful for them, so they can shove their camera phones in people's faces. They can, we're going to expose you, we'll do X, Y, and Z. They can communicate with people. And when the police were saying, oh, hang on, you can't do that, they're like, no, I'm an auditor, I'm allowed to. And for a small time, the police were treating auditors, when someone said, I'm an auditor, I'm a citizen journalist, they would treat them as though they were press, and they'd allow them into the sterile areas of protests.
Oh,
so
really?
They could have access to the left
Oh,
wing. Yeah, so causing fights,
they've been all the time too.
Yeah.
So once again, like
well.
when the police aren't actively helping the far right, they're too stupid to realise they're also helping the far right.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well,
They
well
see
done.
it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they see it. They allow them into the space where photographers would have normally gone. The press would have normally gone.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of fucking uneducated fucking yobs, with phones, and they just shout and abuse. They use it as an excuse to get closer to the other side.
Well, not just
to the lefties. They can shout abuse, and the police will still protect them.
Well, I don't know if you saw one of these sick bastards went to where Henry Novak was killed. Literally went to the spot where he was killed and was filming it. And I'm just like, why not just go and fucking finger his corpse then at that point? What the fuck is, how disrespectful do you want to be to be like, yeah, this is where it happened, guys, don't forget to like and comment? What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
There were people outside, they were stood there, they were like these orders and things, and they were like, we stand with Harvey Novak. It's like, oh my God, that's not his name. You don't know shit. This is just another vehicle. And so, because all of these people are like, not all of them, it does exist on a spectrum. There's different kinds of auditors that do actual protesting. And then there's people like, say, Young Bob.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
Young Bob, that was the lad. Yeah, that was him. He went to the site where your man was killed. Just like, you're so gross.
It's completely moral free, like a lot of them are. It's money. It's a sniff of money. And it pays well, apparently. You know?
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it pays really well. This auditing shit.
Yeah.
The bigger the fight, the better it pays.
Absolutely. And not just
like
that, but
said,
because they're parroting so many sort of establishment narratives, the old adage is true that you'll never be poor parroting what rich people want you to say.
There you go.
Exactly that. It is exactly that. And a lot of times, people don't understand. They're just like, oh, well, it's the nature of people, as though like the algorithm on social media sites are just some like wild worm in that's out there, and we're like, oh, be quiet and maybe it'll be nice. No, it's controlled by billionaires.
Yeah,
literally
the richest man that's ever lived, and it's disgusting because he's created nothing of any fucking worth for the species in any way. Is currently funding Reform UK and Tommy Robinson and all these evil bastards. And they want to claim to be like countercultural. No, you're not. No, I'm sorry. No,
I know. Yeah, no, we're fighting against the system, and now we're going to vote for this man and this band of former Tories, this establishment figure.
Yeah.
So that's your tier 5s, anyways. There's a whole bunch of examples of them. They number into their hundreds because it's quite scary that there's no moderation on YouTube, and because there isn't, it's a really easy to repeat thing, which is given, and they're a vital thing now because a lot of people aren't trusting mainstream media. A lot of people, I mean, for obvious reasons, and I totally get it, or quote unquote mainstream media. I understand why there's a lot of mistrust. But because of that disconnect with the mainstream, it's led a lot of people over to these guys. And so they're the news now. And in fact, I've heard them say that to Channel 4, like a group of them, we're the news now, like as they were recording some event. You're not, bro. You're a knobhead with a camera. That's not the same thing. And they'll call themselves citizen journalists, but they're not. It's not what citizen journalism is. There's no ethical, there's no code of conduct. There's no anything. They're not just imparting what they're seeing. They're
some of them even print their own press passes. One of them, this is how one of them turned out. One of them printed his own press pass and put his real details on it, his own details. So somebody looked him up on Google. Turns out he's a fucking pedo.
Of course he is.
He's
far right.
Convicted paedophile. Yeah, that's it.
He
was there protecting our women and girls, though.
Well, this is the thing. The far right does have that pedo problem, because I've always said people who make that kind of like, we need to hang all the nonces thing, the cornerstone of their political ideology, is doing so as what's it called? Where you hide your own true intent by projection is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. It's absolute projection. The accusation is the confession, as is so often the case with the right wing.
Yeah. With a lot of the prominent members of tier 1 as well, tier 5 as well, like your bigger ones that have got hundreds of thousands of followers, because they do, you know what I mean, they're huge, some of these channels. One of them's subject to like a sexual harm prevention order. Another one is subject to, he threatened to burn down a school to kill the teachers that were trying to teach his kids that gay people exist.
Mad.
Yeah,
but like
he cares about our women and kids.
Yeah,
he does.
Well,
he means it.
Well, yeah. So many of them, like the fact that they're okay with Trump, a man who is clearly and obviously a rapist and a pedophile, right? They're fine with that. Yeah. They're fine with McMaster, who was elected as a Reform MP who kicked his girlfriend in the stomach. Was sent to jail for domestic abuse. They're absolutely fine with Tommy Robinson, a man who was originally arrested for punching a police officer who was trying to stop him punching his then fiancée. Yeah, these people they're wrong uns. They're just wrong uns. The fact that they were all absolutely fine with Andrew Tate, a man who is self-admittedly a rapist, but by just the things he said on camera.
The alpha male that would sit there writing, doing the sex talk that the cam girls were supposed to be doing with his brother. So while you thought you were paying and talking to a cam girl, it was actually Andrew Tate typing to you, because those girls don't know what to say. Because if anyone knows how to make a man happy, it's Andrew Tate. But there's nothing there, nothing to see.
Oh my word. I
So,
didn't know that.
we'll move up. That he did that. Him and Tristan, yeah, and they're happy about it. They're like, yeah, we made money. We robbed those bastards. So I don't know if it was robbery, more of a mutual exchange. And you made those men feel good, and that's probably the only time he did a good service for men. Just saying. Tier
You're a naughty
4.
boy.
These people get a bit. Speaking of naughty, these people get a bit more grim as we go up the tier system. We're out of the ground level now. Well, it's still sort of ground level, but this is the tier 3s. Tier 4s that I was mentioning before. So in tier 4, as an example of who they are, we've got Ryan Ferguson. Let me grab a picture for him now. You may know him from such roles as being a Nazi.
Okay.
And not just
Being a Nazi, throwing salutes all everywhere he goes.
He's an out and out one. This isn't like us saying, oh look, it's this guy's a Nazi in the way that some people do. It's genuinely not that. This man is actually a genuine out and out proud Nazi.
By his own admission, freely admits it.
So he's arguably the most famous out and out neo-fascist in the UK right now, and he does help a lot with Operation Shag the Flag. You may have heard of that one, Kevin. Operation Raise the Colours.
Yes, no, absolutely. Because in my neck of the woods, a man's just been charged with murder. Who is
that would be something Brian Allison, is it? Brian?
Yes.
One of the co-founders.
Yeah, one of the co-founders who allegedly murdered a man because that they're such good people.
He's been charged. Yeah. He's been charged. The other original actual founder of Raise the Colours is a dude named Ryan Bridge. Ryan Bridge is from your neck of the woods, I believe, and he is currently under investigation for a hit and run with, what was that? The cherry picker van that they used to hang the flags. He was also arrested at the UTK event for that, and they arrested this man as well, Ryan Ferguson. He is fully in there with the Raise the Colours lot. He's a proper neo-fascist. Listen to this. So he travelled to Germany, right, and he met a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knew the Hitler family, right?
For real.
I thought the 6 degrees of separation was supposed to be Kevin Bacon, not Adolf fucking Hitler. Jesus.
Yeah. And it's only about 3 steps.
He's only 3 away, like literally. So he knows a guy who set him up with a phone call with Hitler's son, who they were talking at length. He was,
hang on. Time out. Hitler's son.
I know.
Yes. I'm glad you spotted that. That's my error. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't know either. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be the Adolf Hitler who definitely had no children.
That's
the one.
That guy.
He was speaking to Hitler's
Which, like,
son on the phone.
if you're a Nazi, the least you could do is know some basics about your man.
I forgot the word secret. It's his secret son. I forgot that. I should have added that.
He's
yeah. His son that we don't know about.
Okay.
He's illegitimate secret son. And so his son, who also the Hitlers, as they are.
The Hitlers.
Lovely family. I mean,
yeah.
Although I lived next door to them once, and they just took over my conservatory. I thought I'd better just leave. Anyways, no, the Hitlers. He was speaking to members of.
I was about to say, was that the Hitlers or was that some Zionists?
That'll be the Zio. That'll be the Zio coming
on the other
up.
side. That's how I lost my lawn. And to be fair, it was promised to them like thousands of years ago. But no, this guy. So he's on this call. He's chatting to what he thinks is Hitler's son, and they're arranging a visit to what he thinks is Hitler's secret grave. But obviously, Hitler doesn't have a son.
Well, if he's got a secret gun, the secret grave, the secret son, the secret grave's not such a big fucking bull, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't allowed to see the secret grave in the end. But the big question is, who the fuck was he talking to? Who was on the other end of that phone, being like, "Hello, Mr. Hitler? Yes, that's right."
Hello, hey, Hitler here. And he's in the pub. You won't believe who phoned me the other day. Fucking Jesus. So it was Hitler.
You know how many? Do you know how many secret children Hitler had, though? 9.
Oh yes!
You got a proper joke. You got a proper joke out here. We do proper
That's
jokes
it,
here
yeah.
sometimes, guys. It's
Oh,
good.
fuck, I
Right,
fell for that. I do. Oh, well.
right. And I want to show you this other character, but I've had to type in Hugo Nazi boobs from Batman. It does make sense, I promise. Another
That
Tier
is
4 member.
one of hell of a sentence. Can we have a repeat of that sentence? Because that was glorious.
Yes, I've just typed in Hugo Nazi boobs Batman.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Not very normal.
there is a
We
good
do.
reason, though.
We live on such a normal island. We really do.
Yeah, you should see his search thing. It's horrible.
Okay.
It's such a normal. Everything about this island is normal. Also, as well, I got someone was suggesting. I let people suggest. I say I let people. I asked someone for suggestions for the stream title, and they were like, "We should call this Why This Island Is So Normal," which I thought was brilliant. So where is Blair Mai? So I'll give you some background to that right now, if it'll let me. Come on, you slow thing. Ah, damn it. So, do you know what? I'll just use Google. Google will help. So, there is a figure called Mark Collette. He runs Patriotic Alternative.
I'm very much aware of this man because he's old school. He was in the BMP when I was a kid. Yeah.
There you go. That's the fella.
Yeah.
This is the guy.
The man who got inordinately angry at a black person being in a chip advert, I seem to recall.
That was him. That was him. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, as well, the only thing that I've really got, because he is an old school one that a lot of people know, the only new information that I have for anyone, or the only thing that I really want to share about him, is this, right? This image.
Is it his girlfriend?
It's an image of his girlfriend. Now,
Yeah.
I think that DC should sue Mark Collett's girlfriend in the same way that Marvel sue like parents that just want like Spider-Man on a gravestone or something, because she doesn't realize, but Nazi boobs are actually trademark property of DC. They went there before her. Look at that. It's the same person, I'm telling you.
Jesus
He's a naughty
Christ.
boy, isn't he? He's
That
a naughty
is.
boy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mrs. Collette and Bruno, from Batman in the same place at the same time?
I have
No,
not.
because they're the same
No.
person.
No.
Clearly. Clearly.
And that's all I had written down about Patriotic Alternative.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's your Tier 4 guys. So basically, they're occupied, like Tier 4 is occupied by the militant factions, the overt neo-Nazis, the extremist cells that are pushing the explicit neo-Nazi and fascistic ideologies. They're operating entirely outside of the electoral arena. They're not really going for votes or standing for that. They're purely ideologically driven. That group is routinely monitored by counter-extremism and so on.
I'm being told that Mark Collett was dumped by Nazi boob.
That's all right.
Got dumped by Bruno.
Yeah.
Mark and Bruno are not together.
Oh, it's
I was calling him Marku as well, like a little cute sort of
Mark.
power couple, man.
Mark, the Brangelina of fascism. Yes.
Oh god. Also, as well, who is doing Nazi tattoos? Like, do you have to go to like? Is there like a special knock that you have to do, like in a tattoo parlor, and just be like, I don't know. So, I'm trying to think of
How many she got thrown out of before somebody said, "Yeah, we'll do that"?
Yeah.
They were like, I want a window frame, but I'm gonna have some pieces missing, and maybe they tricked them into it. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, I don't know what kind of tattoo parlors you go to, but I assume it's done in kitchens or something.
Yeah, well, possibly, or maybe there are just like, as in any industry, there are people who will do like cash in the hand efforts, and they don't care. Hang on, I'm sorry, hearing myself back there. And they don't care, sort of like they're just like, it's your body, whatever. Like, I'm not a Nazi, but you are, fine, whatever. It's one of those things.
Imagine that. Imagine being like, I'm not a Nazi, but I have tattooed a bunch of Nazis. Like, I am the chief Nazi tattoo.
Well, you get like there are people who like sell heroin, and they probably justify it to themselves on the same basis of like, well, it's their body. I'm not forcing them to have heroin. I'm just selling it to them. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I'm just gonna do the streamer thing because I've missed a bunch of stuff here. Oh my god, these guys have been really, really kind and really, really awesome. So I don't think I managed to highlight Drop before, who also dropped a gifted. We had Jim, Specs, Michael, Charlie's girl has put in a £5 super chat, which is amazing. Thank you so much. I honestly didn't think we had super chats. I was supposed to only have the 1.99 tier thing of Smelly Lefty. But for 99p, you can also be a Smelly Lefty, guys. We also had another super chat of £2. Thank you so much, Andrew Luke. And another one as well from Ollie. Yeah, and I'm glad to see that you haven't made any Beetle comments yet, Ollie.
Oh,
Don't
what's going on there? That's a red rag to a bunch of very childish bulls. How dare you?
It is. I'm sorry. I watch your show quite a lot, and it makes me laugh so much when like it's the whole. I feel like maybe you didn't find it as funny, and I might have been a knob there. I didn't mean to be.
No, I am only joking. Like I'd have nipped it in the bud before now if it really did piss me off. It's just look, it's not actually true. I don't actually look like him. But if people want to say it, then fine, whatever. Okay. At least, chat. At least fucking say it in a super chat so I get something out of it. You fucking bastard.
Right, fucking right. Everyone, get over there now and do it. You heard what the man wants. We know what he needs.
And it's so weird because how that came about was we were talking about famous people. I said that Karl Marx was buried at Highgate Cemetery in London, and I said, "Oh, there's loads of like famous people that were buried there as well." And I was like, we looked through the list, and I was like naming like philosophers and writers and artists and stuff, and then all of a sudden Jeremy Beadle popped up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't even know he was dead. That was how I found out that Jeremy Beadle wasn't alive anymore. Anyway. And so I had to show the Americans who the fuck Jeremy Beadle was, and then here we are.
That was fun.
Yeah, what did I show them? I think I showed them some You've Been Framed or some awful shit.
Yeah. Well,
well, I mean, it was to be honest though. I just before we crack on back with the things as well. I do very much love your streams and stuff, and the stuff you're doing with No Justice has really helped me sort of understand the political sphere and things as well. Like you do a great job.
Thank you very much. I mean, you're incorrect. I don't do a good job, but No Justice does. So definitely, yeah.
All right. I tell you what, he's been like a dog with two tails since you said yes to it, Gavin. He's been running around like so excited. It's been cool.
Oh, bless him. Bless him.
Let his little heart and cotton sock.
Oh.
Oh, bechod. But yeah, Lester and Barrett. All right, you got the Beatles stuff. I got the dad blessing me. It's fine. We're even. We're good.
Yeah.
So the fringe political parties. This is your tier 3 now. So the tier 4 was the extremist cells. Tier 5 is with the order one because tier 3 is these are the fringe political parties that actually want to become genuine political parties. They're seeking mainstream electoral viability, even though they're they are who they are. But we've got examples such as Nicholas Marcel Tenconi, which is, by the way, beautiful British name.
Yeah, it's
British name.
so.
Little Nicky.
I can't imagine a more Anglo-Saxon name than Tenconi. Yes.
Beautiful. What was it, Marcel?
The Marcel in the middle.
Nicholas
That's just like the
Marcel,
English
Marcel.
like cherry on top.
Yeah. So anyway, tell me about Francois. What was he doing? What?
Little Nicky.
So Roberto was Little Nicky. Do you know what? Speaking of Little Nicky, he's kind of like the Adam Sandler character. He might actually be the son of the devil.
He is, yeah. Because didn't he took over? Was it UKIP or something? And now he marches around with a cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his fake Christianity shizzle going on.
Yeah, he's
a loser. Those guys walking around with those wooden crosses they're dodgy geezers. They are, all of them.
Yeah. Also, I do have to I try and put myself in the person's shoes, right? And I imagine if I was Jesus, I'm not saying I'm not Jesus, but if I was Jesus, I don't know that I'd want people carrying around the thing that I was murdered on as a remembrance of me.
I know, right? And he was a carpenter, and he ended up nailed to a piece of wood. It's really
exactly.
sad,
It'd have been like, not only was I murdered on that, but look at the fucking joists on that. Rubbish.
Yeah, you mess on that. You could hurt yourself on that.
Exactly. You get a splinter on that. It's dangerous.
And then infection, and there is no way to combat infection in this time. So we all know it's true. it is somewhat ironic, isn't it, when you think about how like they just like, oh, he died on this, let's wear it everywhere. Like, not a
Turning
picture of
Point
his face,
UK,
but,
isn't
like,
he?
You know,
Yeah.
Oh, Nicky. Little Nicky's Turning Point UK. That's what he is now, is it?
yes, he does that, as well as he's co-owner of Turning Point UK, which young Bob is in. He's the less said about Turning Point, the better. To be honest, there's a lot of sketchy stuff that could be said.
Was
I'm
that
not
the-
making jokes? I swear.
Was that the organisation founded by the late Charles Kirk?
It was.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Was it?
Charlie.
Wow. Bloody hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that started, and so he's doing that whole change my mind thing. And young Bob he's Nick Tenconi's the co-owner, but young Bob will sit down at these tables and do the whole thing. Although I haven't seen him at one since Hope Not Hate released a bunch of secretly recorded audio files of young Bob telling us exactly what he thinks about everyone in the far right. Turns out he's not as stupid as he looked. He's just genuinely a grifter.
Yeah.
He was saying that Tommy's fans were like R-worded. I won't say that, but you get the point. He was he was saying what we're all thinking essentially, and he was saying like that you know, how Nicholas Tenconi is such a fucking idiot, and all he's doing is trying to, you know, be outrageous to generate hype for his party, which is a dead end. He's like, yeah, I'm the leader of UK, but he's like, so what? I'm the captain of a sinking ship. It's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and yeah, young Bob knew what he was talking about, to be fair. So yeah, they've been replicating the Turning Point style of stuff. He does present himself as this Christian knight trying to save Britain from degeneracy, and he likes to preach traditional values. But I'm just reading now, during Tenco training, he was caught on his business's X account thirsting over adult film stars and sex workers, while calling them wife. Which is kind of weird. It's giving me like "You're my wife, Dave" now kind of vibes.
It is very
Yeah.
it's Fash Papa Lazaro. Yes.
That's exactly what it is. But these are the people that they're somewhat positioned. The reason why they've got their own little tier and they're not in the sort of like the extremist level is because they are looking for electoral viability. There are people that will stand for elections and things. They are trying to be somewhat establishment-ish, even if they're doing it in the most Nazi saluting way possible. But yeah, they're doing that. Up above them in tier... let me get back to the document thing there. So up above them,
Tier
tier 2, we've got the mobilizers. So these are your people like your Danny Tomos, your Ryan Bridges. They activate the activist base, they get people angry, and they drive them to these events at which all the other previous tiers can network and earn money and do all that stuff. And they work on the back of tier 1, who put out populist talking points about immigration into the mainstream. And then Tommy Robinson will say the thing that you're all thinking. And then get everybody there. Obviously, nobody's thinking that unless they've been kicked in the head by a horse. But apparently that's a big thing in this country.
Yes.
People have them.
Yeah, and essentially the tiers can be thought of as a kind of human centipede of disinformation.
Oh yes, yeah.
Where
Absolutely,
literally,
and it is circular too.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, yeah, where they just pass down levels of bullshit from one to the next, and it's amazing how but because it's been repeated so often, and this is, I mean, to quote a person who worked with a man who I only learned recently has a fake son, a secret son. Joseph Goebbels, who was quite right when he said that what was it, to tell a small lie is unbelievable or is disbelievable, but to tell a massive lie that was repeated often enough, it becomes the truth. And that's what the right wing absolutely do. This two-tier policing thing, a thing that is demonstrably the opposite of reality, where we know that people of ethnic minorities get disproportionately treated appallingly by the police. We've had report after report after report ever since Stephen Lawrence until this very day, that show that the various police forces are institutionally racist and sexist, and we know that so many of them are domestic abusers and so on. And yet Nigel Farage and his ilk will pass down the human centipede of lies that that it's actually white men who are the people being put upon, and it's such bollocks. But they repeat it long enough that they genuinely believe it. Like, I genuinely think a lot of those right-wingers, outside of the grifters, would pass a lie detector test if you ask them about this. Not because it's truth, but because that measures perceived truth. So if you genuinely believe it, even if it's not true, you'll pass. And I think they would, because they genuinely believe it to be the case, even though it's obvious nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly
And these
right.
guys, you know, they get ripped because of it. And of course, it pays. There's money in this as well, isn't there? There's money coming right the way down through it.
Yeah. Well, we were talking like actually.
Because it's profitable to repeat the lie, but also as well, it's not just profit either. It's about the business. And when we look at what the far right are in the business of, they're in the business of us. They're in the business of ruling us. They're in the business of changing policy, of making like an ethno-homogenous sort of state. That's what they're in. So it's really scary how you have a whole group of people that will genuinely believe this stuff, that there is two-tier policing, and there is two-tier police. And this is why it's kind of awkward, because it is two-tier police and they've just inverted it, and it's the other way. It's not the way that they think it is. And like they do it with everything. That all the tropes, I can't even name you some of the things. It's just so, it's a machine that doesn't stop, and it's a machine that it's not as chaotic as people think. This is why when we spent ages, I spent like a week or more, like sleepless nights writing this document, only to find out that it's a human centipede. But it is genuinely that. It's that cyclical tier system. It's the way that they operate with each other is very it's very organized. Even though you don't actually directly have to be. If you're at any one of those levels, you can act as an independent operator, but you still rely on all of the other levels to be in the position.
It's a genuine, it's a kind of financial political ecosystem, right? Where these people, like you say, are interdependent, even if they don't necessarily realise. And I think it becomes very, very sinister as you get towards the top end, because, like you say, young Bob is undoubtedly a grifter who doesn't actually like the people he's around, but realises there's a living to be earned grifting that way, which is incredibly scummy in its own way, but is less dangerous than, say, like, I mean, I was talking with No Justice the other day about. Nigel Farage wants trade unions to affiliate now to the Reform Party. Now, none of the major ones that currently exist are going to do that, but there's nothing to stop, say, a very rich, very far-right individual, say, in America, funding the foundation of a fake one. You sign up a couple of thousand right-wing dickheads, and all of a sudden, you have the opportunity to funnel millions of pounds via trade union affiliation fees to the Reform Party in a perfectly legal way.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to start, I think, to see.
And that, I think, then, so that's a good opportunity. So we know who the mobilisers are. We know the Tommy Robinsons. And all I wrote about Tommy Robinson was just a list of names that I've got for him. So, like, the man, the myth, the bell end, the grift that keeps on grifting, Tel Aviv Steve, the Prime Sinister, the epitome of shittery, Sniffer Hog, Father Shitmus himself, Oswald Brosley, I like that one, the rootin' tootin' mouthpiece for Putin. And I think that you may have started this one as Ewok Powell. I like that one.
I didn't start it. Someone in my chat mentioned that, and Ewok Powell made me snort with laughter. Yeah, that is very good.
Excellent, though. Really good one.
Yeah. Tommy Robinson is a man I'm very familiar with, because he actually chased out one of my friends from The Nation. Literally, I used to do a podcast called what's it called? Someone chatting remind me. Anyway, it was an anti-fascist podcast we did for a few years with me and Mike Stutchbury, who's an Australian academic who lived in the UK and now lives in, I think, Germany, and a Cognitive Society, who's one of the producers at Turn Left, but before Turn Left existed. And because of Mike Stutchbury's work exposing the far right, he and Andrew Tate, when he lived in the UK, both literally went round and brigaded Mike's house, and he's got a wife and young kids at the time, and literally they got to the point where they decided, well, fuck it. Oh, it's called Let Them Eat Cake. That was it, yeah, which is a play on cake. But anyway, never mind.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah,
I mean, even we've had bloody death threats, so they're pretty free and easy with it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was incredibly sinister, because a man with Tommy Robinson's violent record, and I mean, we all saw what Andrew Tate's actual kickboxing abilities are, but that still doesn't make him not a dangerous man to have to deal with. And they both turned up at his house, and Andrew Tate posted really like sinister shit online, literally with a photo of him outside Mike's house on Twitter.
Wow.
To his like gazillion followers. And so eventually Mike decided to up and leave, and he now lives and works in Germany, which again just makes the country worse because we've now got two productive tax-paying people and their family that now live in Germany and are benefiting the German society. So that's fantastic. So I'm very familiar with the works of Mr. Yaxley Lennon, to give him his official name.
Tommy 10 shekels.
Yeah, Tel Aviv Tommy. He's been around for so long now, because you forget the BNP, not BNP, sorry, the English Defence League, the EDF. Although, I mean, I make the slip, but was it worth even correcting it? They're the same fucking group. Because of course Tommy doesn't like to mention that he literally attended BNP meetings. So that's just a thing. They started doing their kind of violent urban rambling thing. God, when I was about 16 or something. So we're talking a good over 20 years he's been around now. There's not a town centre up and down the country he hasn't smashed up. And there was a brief moment when he came out of prison for one of his various stints where he looked like he was going to maybe reform himself to some extent. He got involved with that Quilliam Foundation with Majid Nawaz, who was a bit of a prick himself, in all honesty, but whatever. And he looked like he might turn things around, and he started to make vaguely sensible suggestions about, cross-community dialogue and all this sort of stuff. And it looked vaguely promising for a second, and then he realised, like, because of the things he'd said and done, there wasn't really any way back for him into, like, normal society, because he had gone too far. Like, you can only be so violent for so long before people will never trust you again. So there was no employment for him anywhere. So the far right grift came a calling once again. And so that's where they ended up. And so he went straight back to it. And of course, he's now got the weird allied grift of far right kind of ethno-nationalist thing alongside massive supporter of Israel, which is not that surprising given that that's also an attempted ethno-state, but is a little bit unusual from the historic far right. And I think there's no doubt that Zionists have definitely tried to make sure that the far right focus far more on Muslims than they do on anybody else. And so a lot of these people are very, very firm adherents of Zionism and Zionist practice or political principle. And it's been very profitable for them. I mean, we literally saw not that long ago Tommy Robinson going over to Israel and doing the whole press tour there, which would have been very financially lucrative for him, I'm sure. And now he's, I mean, this Unite the Kingdom thing, I don't know how profitable that is in terms of the direct money or whatever, but there's no doubt in terms of clout and his political reach, it's vastly improved his situation. And again, feeds into the ecosystem, because there's no doubt that Reform and Restore and all these other shitty organisations, like you say, they get to network and sort of do crowd work at these events, as well as of course the speakers and the acts, they get to do it and launch themselves, and so it kind of helps bring people together. It's a kind of festival of hate, if you will, but rather than it being like a cool progressive thing where actually positive things are happening, it's like the worst people coming together and networking on how to be more efficiently shit, and that's what happens.
Yes,
that's why I think this tier structure really is. It can be quite important for some people to be able to look at it and see the connection between the YouTubers that are getting these millions of views, all the way to Tommy Robinson, then up against the upper tiers to like people like Rupert Murdoch and how they play their role in it. Because as an establishment figure in tier one, he's controlling the news, and I don't mean to sound very conspiratorial. I just mean that he is the owner of these things. Like, I mean, you don't even think, controlling everything, but he genuinely is.
It's not conspiratorial in the slightest. Although what I will say is that he's now actually retired. So we're talking sort of 2 years ago until all the way back to the late 60s. He ran in various forms. Firstly, the Australian media, because he's an Australian by birth, and then he came over and controlled the British media, and then the American media. It's not conspiratorial in the slightest. If you look at, say, the Iraq War, regardless of the political opinions within any set country in which his newspapers and TV stations operate, they were all in favour of the Iraq War. massively so. Regardless of whether when they were in nations that were very, very anti, at no point was there any independent editorial stance from anyone who worked for his newspapers. In fact, I believe I'm right in saying there were a couple of editors who resigned their posts, at least in part because they were forced to have to write pro-war slop. So it's not a matter of conspiratorial. He literally was out there controlling the political messaging. He boasted about the way in which he was able to choose prime ministers. Literally, this will never cease disgusting me, right? In the 2005 general election, you know how when the Catholic Church elect a new pope, they get like white smoke out of the chimney. Yeah. The Sun newspaper at its headquarters at Wapping in Essex, or is it Kent? Yeah. One of the two. Anyway, literally had fake smokestacks set up on the roof of that building, and they were going to release the colour of the political party they had chosen to support in that general election, literally suggesting, and it was red because they decided to support Tony Blair in the 2005 election, literally saying to themselves, we are the selectors of the new leader. We are literally doing that. And I was like, why isn't there a revolution about this? Why is this just tolerated? Literally from the time that Margaret Thatcher was first Prime Minister until he retired a couple of years ago, once a month, every month, even when he was fucking ill, Rupert Murdoch had a 1 hour long or more phone call with every Prime Minister.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Kind of like how the King has chats with Prime Ministers.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly, yeah. But I mean, the Prime Minister turns up and gives them the perfunctory shit. Essentially,
course, yeah.
He was dictating to the British Prime Minister what they had to do. Otherwise, he was going to go after them in the press. Like,
and that he has that sort of power, or had that
and
sort of power.
And it's not just that he was pushing like economic conservatism, which is not that surprising. Lots of people who are rich are economically conservative, but he has been pushing some really nasty far right narratives, because of course it's not just in Britain and Australia he operates in America as well. For the Americans watching, Fox News, probably the most cancerous, poisonous institution in the history of that nation, was literally founded by and funded by Rupert Murdoch. He is the owner of Fox News Corp. That's his thing, right? The entire reason that he put tens of millions of dollars into that loss-making enterprise at the beginning, because it was, for many years, an absolute loss-making enterprise. No one was watching. Cable news was a relatively new thing. He would put it in there because he wanted an absolute way of controlling the narrative. It was literally said by, I think it might have been Tucker Carlson or someone, and I think it's absolutely true, that if Fox News had existed at the time of Watergate, Nixon wouldn't have had to resign, because the whole reason he had to resign is because there was this constant bleed, drip, 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 drip in the narrative, whereas Fox News is able to just shut that down completely. So every Trump scandal just gets quashed, and it doesn't matter that there's a new scandal tomorrow and a new one after that and a new one after that. He is absolutely, the Fox News is just able to crush it and crush it and crush it and push the narrative more and more far right. And he's used the Roger Ailes, who was the guy personally selected by Rupert Murdoch to be he was the kind of main director of Fox News for the vast majority of its time. I think he's dead now, thankfully, but he gets replaced by a new one, I suppose. His deliberate stalking horse tactic was to choose more and more extreme hosts on the far right to make their normally very right-wing hosts seem normal by comparison. And you can see that if you go back to Glenn Beck, was the original one, who said dumb shit like, you can tell that Barack Obama's a communist from the number of Maoists in his administration, was a thing he actually said.
Those famous Maoists who were in there.
Crazy shit, right? And because he was going more and more extreme and conspiratorial and crazy, he makes the normal people seem, he makes the less crazy people seem normal by comparison. And so he was able to essentially use them as an extreme force, pulling the network and the nation of America further and further and further right, to the point where someone who is just an avowed fucking white nationalist at this point, Tucker Carlson, was not even seen as that far right in American mainstream politics.
No, he was accepted, isn't it? They've managed to weaponise the Overton window almost, in a sense that, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's the kind of the cancerous tumor at the heart of American democracy was founded and run purposefully for the political exploitation and indeed money making of Rupert Murdoch, a man who is honestly has done more damage to this earth than any non-military leader in history.
This fucking disaster capitalism that they run around with, it, just destroying shit and betting on, the next fucking administration after the one that is destroyed will be slightly more America friendly and shit. It's just craziness, man.
But there are other ones, of course, in the UK who are technically independent of Rupert Murdoch as well. Obviously, the Mail, the Daily Mail, which is the most read newspaper in Britain, sadly. Although I don't know if that takes into account digital services, which is a much more modern thing, but whatever. And I think probably our version of Roger Ailes to a degree, I suppose, if you can draw such a comparison between TV and newspaper, is Paul Dacre, who was the editor-in-chief of the Mail for many years, and is just, again, did that thing of purposely publishing people further to the right than the kind of average writer in both their paper and the country more broadly, in order to make everyone else seem less crazy. So, what's her name? Amanda Platel was one of the first as well, who was an Australian who wrote appalling shit about fucking everything basically, and pushed a kind of Christian nationalism type thing, not quite like a very Italianly named British nationalist from earlier, but people like that. And then you get Katie Hopkins as well, who's written in that particular newspaper as well. And so publishing those kinds of people as lead opinion writers in the paper makes the actually extreme narratives they're pushing in the supposed news section of that newspaper seem less crazy, because they're like, if you just publish something that's like, say, 75% right wing, and then it's next to an opinion leader that's 100% right wing, everyone who then reads those two things thinks, well, this is perfectly reasonable then, because that's only 75%. But actually, it's still very, very fucking right wing. If you just read the news content, news in inverted commas, in the Daily Mail, it's the Stürmer light. It really is. It's not surprising that this was the newspaper that famously literally supported the aforementioned Adolf Hitler. Although we don't know about their feelings on his secret son. We don't know yet. But
it's been a secret, but it's out now.
Very much so. We broke that story exclusively.
You heard it first here.
Yeah.
You know?
I
see the tactics that they use, and so when we look at like the establishment figures and things, who do you think belongs in tier one outside of the obvious, outside of the Nigel Farage?
I think you've just been through them pretty much.
Hey.
I thought he'd just been through them pretty much,
Oh yeah, for the most part, but like who sort of more directly then within like modern British establishment then? Because obviously, if not Rupert Murdoch, because he's not, like you say, he's not as involved. This is why we thought it'd be a great chat to have with you. Because this idea that we've had about the tier system that's cyclical, we know obviously about people and figureheads from the top tiers, but I'm not as politically as versed as a lot of other people are that have really looked into this subject, like yourself and. So, like, other tier one members, who do you think's there that's controlling,
like I say,
not controlling, but like setting narratives?
Setting narratives, of course, you've got to look at some of the mainstream editors and journalists. So you've got, like I say, within Rupert Murdoch himself is the sort of the head of a Christmas tree of evil, where there are layers and layers of people underneath them, going all the way back to the days of like the News of the World and what was her name, the redhead who got implicated in the Rebecca. Anyway, Rebecca Brooks. Rebecca Brooks was her name. Yeah.
Hey, well done.
So you got Rebecca Brooks. You've got people like, actually, technically Piers Morgan wasn't directly employed by Rupert Murdoch, but he did work at a paper that became a Murdoch shit rag. You've got people like Andrew Neil, of course, who was one of the people that helped set up GB News, and he's one of those annoying characters who can be quite sinister in a sense, because he's well in the right sort of circles to be able to manipulate, public narrative setting, but he's also mainstream enough that he's able to come across as sensible when it needs to be. right? So if you just hear him talk on like the interview he did with Ben Shapiro, he seems like a normal guy who's like exposing Ben Shapiro for being a piece of shit. Or when you see him interview Alex Jones, and he makes Alex Jones look like a crazy fucking lunatic, although Alex Jones does that himself, of course. He seems normal, but yet he's also the guy that then co-founded, or helped set up, I should say, I suppose, and was the first founder of GB News, which again is attempting to do what Rupert Murdoch did with Fox News, right? Where they have on, they're essentially just literally running the same Fox News playbook, where it's a loss leader, it's not making any money, it's losing money hand over fist, and they know it, but the people running it have deep enough pockets to play the long game and hope that even if it doesn't turn out to be a profit maker, they can at least sort of break even. But more importantly than all of that, because they're not doing it necessarily just to make money, they'd like to make money, of course, but they're doing it for political clout. They want to be able to set up GB News, or whatever it becomes if it gets renamed or whatever, into the Fox News of Britain, where it's able to set narratives in the more conservative way, as if the rest of the media being right-wing as fuck wasn't enough anyway. That's the thing they want to do. You of course have Nigel Farage. He's pretty obvious, I suppose, but has been a real leader in the kind of soft far right, if that makes sense. The kind of more acceptable face of the far right. He doesn't come out and overtly say like, "Oh, I can't hear you now. I can't." Hang on, I'll drop out and come back in. 1 second. Sorry. Oh, I was flowing then as well, chap.
He's just a wanker. He's the biggest grifter that fucking. Well, not the biggest. Well, maybe.
Yeah, there we
package, which is why I accept the phrasing of like sort of the soft far right, the more publicly acceptable far right.
Sorry about that. If I was talking over you, I wasn't being rude. I couldn't hear anything, so I assumed you'd just gone quiet.
No, it's more than fine. Honestly, don't worry about it. It was only for like a couple of seconds. Honestly, it's fine.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's. But obviously, yeah, Nigel Farage's are the sort of obvious figures, but they're the sort of like you say about the soft far right. This is the sort of dance that they have to do. So there are people like to say like Tommy Robinson, or even if we go a step down and we look into the sort of fringe, bigoted political parties that are looking for electoral validation but aren't in any position to sort of gain it. Those figures would give their right arm to be up there, but they just can't hold that establishment line. So you can say pure cold rage, for example, but you can't say get out in the street and kick off. Like it's that line where although they mean the same thing essentially, as long as it's packaged in that sort of like pedantic.
It's plausible deniability. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I said no such thing. That's not what I meant.
Yeah. So it's plausible deniability and sort of legal safeguarding, because of course they don't want to get done in the same way that. Oh, fuck's sake, why is my brain not working with names today? The wife of the Conservative councillor who got banged up for telling people to burn down migrant hotels. What was the name?
No.
God.
Someone in chat will remind me. Anyway, they don't want to end up like they want to end up. They don't want to end up like that. So they have to come out and say pure cold rage. And then obviously the shell game is, well, don't you? Lucy Connolly was her name. Thank you. They can then play the shell game of, well, don't you feel angry at this murder? To which any answer, but I mean, yeah, obviously I feel angry about this. This is a fucking terrible thing. Which then they can say, see, so you feel rage, but you don't think other people should feel rage. But there's a difference between feeling in a rage about a thing and going, I know, let's burn down someone's fucking house.
Great
you know?
Shit,
yeah. So there's that.
We've seen it in Belfast. I was watching the Brian Belfast, how they were targeting houses. They were like, oh, this is asylum seekers' homes. How do you know that? How can you tell their legal status by the look of the bricks and mortar from the outside?
And even if they are
had to be taken out of homes on fire by police. It makes no sense.
And even if they are, you don't get to burn people's fucking houses then. If you do, you're an animal. Simple as that.
And even if they are,
and of course,
there is no circumstances where you do that. Like, and they're like, oh no, but this is normal. So you're angry too. So obviously, a Molotov cocktail is the next logical step. I'm just being logical.
Yeah.
No, you're being a piece of shit.
All of this, it would be remiss of us to just focus on America. To focus on Britain. We have to look to America for the funding for this, because of course some of it comes from Britain or other places around Europe, but largely we're looking at, I mean, Elon Musk is the most obvious public facing version of this, in that he's openly giving money to people like Reform and trying to restore, who are just, it's just set in my brain now. I'm going to fuck those two parties and mix them up completely in my head. The openly funding Restore has openly said that he wanted Nigel Farage to become Prime Minister, although apparently Nigel Farage is now too left wing, which is interesting. Not anti-migrant enough for the migrant who entered America illegally with his brother. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, who of course is led by Donald Trump, who is an anchor baby for his illegal migrant mother from Scotland. Just saying. As you do. So Elon Musk is openly like funding this stuff, but we know from like groups like the LGB Alliance people, the transphobes, we know that most of their people aren't actually LGBT at all. They're just straight people who are pretending, or lying about it, or just funding it. And we know that a lot of their money comes from religious far right organisations based in America. This is absolutely well known. I think what's less well known, because the lack of transparency that's legally necessary from organisations that exist on places like Tufton Street, these think tanks, which are essentially a way of money laundering for far right nonsense. A lot of that, I imagine, comes from America, but again, because legally they don't have to tell us where that money is coming from, we're not entirely sure, but I would be very surprised if a lot of it doesn't come from America. I think probably some of it comes from Russia as well, as part of Putin's seeking to destabilize Western countries to make them more, more easy to manage because they're so disunited. There's no doubt that a lot of money has been spent in America on that campaign. I'd be very surprised if the same weren't true in Britain. Although, again, because these organisations are so opaque about their funding, it's difficult to know exactly. And yes,
sorry to interrupt, but I was just looking at some of the headlines there, and Tommy Robinson, you said, that money's coming from America and then also maybe Russia, and Tommy Robinson has just turned up in Moscow with Elon's father.
Yeah, that's true. Elon's father, who by the way, impregnated his stepdaughter.
That happened. That's a real thing.
So if you want to know the kind of breeding kink psychodrama that is Elon Musk's entire private life, look to the parenting on that one, I think. Yeah. And of course is himself a fucking white nationalist piece of shit who owned not technically apartheid, but it was I don't know what it was technically called in Namibia, but the white supremacist governing structure there, which used essentially black slave labour in his emerald mine. Yeah. So that's the kind of person that Elon Musk is. Like you say, Tommy Robinson's been in Moscow. I saw a part of one of the speeches he gave where he described immigrants or migration more generally, I think it was migrants, as a cancer on Britain.
He's a wanker.
Lovely. Even though, is this the same Britain that was built on the back and the sweat of migrants? Is that the same place he's on?
Well, I'll just say, Mr. Lennon, that's a very Irish-sounding name, if you don't mind me saying, for someone supposedly suggesting that migration. Now, I say that as the son of an Irish migrant who is himself a holder of an Irish passport. Fuck you, Brexit. You're not stopping me. Exactly. Yeah. Although I will just say that I got it because my father, God bless him, he said, if there's ever a war, promise to go and stay with your aunt, I won't say her name, but auntie blah blah blah, in Ireland, because no son of mine's taking the king's shilling. was his phrase. And he made us promise, and cross our hope to die, that we would do that.
We wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to fucking die for this lot. Are you joking? Fuck off. No, not a chance. Anyway, so he's been in Moscow connecting, and of course we've seen this before. We saw with other far right figures like Lauren Southern and what's her fucking face? The one that married the Austrian Nazi. I've forgotten her fucking name. Anyway,
Eva? Sorry.
Well, technically there was a person called Eva who married an Austrian Nazi, but I'm talking 21st century. I've forgotten her name. Anyway, and no, my aunt is not called Mary. Don't be racist in chat. Jesus. Although it has been pointed out that the easiest way to do a séance in Ireland would just be like, I'm getting a Mary. I'm getting a Mary. Does anyone know a Mary? Yeah, because everyone knows a fucking Mary.
In Wales, it's like we're getting the last name Jones. Oh,
Yeah.
Hughes, and then that's all half of us.
Yeah. Is there a Phillips in the room? A Phillips? No. Okay. Yeah. So I've forgotten where we were. That was it. Fucking Martin Sellner and was the particular Austrian Nazi, but that doesn't tell me who the woman is. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, they went to Moscow and they interviewed Alexander Dugin and various other far right figures. Yeah, awful stuff.
And then it's not even just like from the sort of like what we're noticing as well. It's not even sort of like the upper echelons of that sort of tier system generated that do this. We've also seen that like the tier 5 stuff, some sort of AY audits. Anthony, I will burn your school down if you tell them gay people exist. Barnes. He was in places like Poland and stuff, networking with their far right groups and things. They're doing the same thing that he does here, but there. They're starting to branch out. We saw Wesley Winters right beating in Paris doing the same thing out there. They don't fuck around in Paris. It's a hell of a beating. But they're doing it. They're out there networking. They're internationally doing so.
It's a concept they call omni-nationalism, which it sounds like an oxymoron at first, I suppose. But they've essentially decided, and this is where the American influence comes in again, because the idea of like white nationalism doesn't make sense in a European context, because there's loads of different types of white people. Like a Swede is not the same as a Spaniard, is not the same as a Romanian, is not the same as a German, right? These nations
Italians weren't even considered white at one point.
Well, neither were Irish people either, but you know, this happened up until recently. Neither were Ukrainians, but that became convenient. So welcome to the club, I guess. You know, but either way, these nations of people have been warring against each other and slaughtering each other for fucking millennia. Before the nations of Sweden or Britain or anything else fucking existed, before the nation state existed. But in an American context, because they're a nation of migrants from all of these different white peoples, they have to pretend that there's some unifying thing in being white. Which of course isn't fucking true, because the two main wars that have ever existed started in Europe between white people against fucking white people. Like, there's no unifying whiteness, it's fucking nonsense. But in America, they had to try and like forge this idea of white unity and all this shit. And so they've now got this idea of omni-nationalism, where if you're a German nationalist, you shouldn't hate French people as long as they're also nationalists. But nationalists for France. And as long we can all separate off, but we can unify on the basis that we all think nationalism is super cool and awesome. And so there are connections that get made between these different nationalist groups all across Europe, and they obviously talk about the ways in which they go about organising and give tips and advice and moral support, and indeed I suppose financial support in some instances as well. And that's how they hope to sort of grow an international nationalist movement, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's sort of what they're going for. Even though, of course, we all know that fundamentally, when it came down to it, they'd all fucking slaughter each other if given the chance again. They're just pretending not to hate each other because it's sort of convenient to do so right now.
Absolutely, and then they'll commence with the list that we can hear in the poem at first they came for, and then it'll go right back to where it was in the beginning, which is everyone hating each other. And then they will unite. It's one of those. I find that like the union between some of these far right groups are like it's almost like kind of cute to a point where some of them have kind of like gone like, oh god, if it wasn't for these bloody foreigners, and this guy's like, am I right? And then they're all like, you too, and then but you're still foreign though, but just stay in your country, I'll stay in mine, and we'll be hateful together. And then it's weird, isn't it, this international nationalist movement? It's
a little bit, reminds me a little bit of when the Flat Earth Society bragged about having members all over the globe.
In every corner of the world.
Like, well done, lads. Brilliant stuff.
I had a right, like, interaction with some like flat earthers in my sort of like local area, and I didn't realize until I went right off the deep end, off the edge of the planet, into this I didn't realize how much of a membership scam it was and stuff, and how they like it's kind of like I liken it to, you know, the old sort of like there was a trope about a scam from like Nigeria. Oh, you've got an uncle that you didn't realize that was a prince that died, and if you give us some, it's so, the way it works is it's so obscure and so stupid that they kind of filter out all the time wasters, and they get to the real vulnerable / gullible, I hate saying it, but the vulnerable people that might believe that. It's a good way of, like, you know, the more unbelievable it is, the less likely you are to waste time trying to convince someone. Yeah. And if someone's going to bite it, they'll buy anything. And I kind of feel that it's a sort of similar-ish thing to that.
And it's sort of a shame in a sense, because when I was growing up, the Flat Earth Society didn't have this sort of sinister thing to it. Obviously, the people in it were a bit quirky and mental, but it was seen as almost like a kind of tongue-in-cheek bit of silliness, you know? Yeah. Where you kind of got the impression that a lot of them didn't really believe it. It was just a sort of fun, weird little club. Like, I don't know, like people who were like, oh, let's form an organisation where we wear bowler hats or a funny tie or something. Like, it's just
like a thought exercise, even. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And whereas now it's like, whereas now there are people out there giving pseudo-scientific talks about how it's definitely flat and how you can't trust NASA. Like, what?
You can't. And never a straight answer, is it, NASA? Yeah, never a straight answer.
Yeah.
Well, a load of shit.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? And this whole process that they do, I think you've frozen. Oh no, it's come back now. There you go. But this whole thing that they do, it's how the reason why it's so unbelievable. It's so anti-science. It's so anti-logic. You know, I had to really learn some shit. Man. It's funny, isn't it, how these people just invent things, and then I spend the rest of my time learning why they're wrong. That means required to learn how things work. But,
well, there is actually there is actually a kind of analog, I suppose, of this within the far right, in that it takes like a second to make a bullshit claim, like the Earth is flat, or two-tier policing, and they're as true as each other. There, by the way, I'm making a direct comparison. But in order to disprove the point, you can't just go, that's bullshit, even though you know intuitively those are both bullshit. You have to sift through fucking papers and come up with statistics and arguments and blah, blah, blah. And you've wasted all your time. In that same time, that person has gone and recruited 3 more fucking people by repeating the same bullshit. So it's sort of difficult. The truth is much slower, you know, and it takes a lot more effort to do it, which is why it's a lot easier and more profitable to not tell the truth, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think, was it Churchill said something about a lie being halfway around the world before truth's even got its pants on?
True.
We were saying that one earlier, yeah. And it's the power of the lie. But before we do go, and I'm really sorry, I'm going to have to shoot off in about 10 minutes-ish. I need to crack on with real life stuff, gross. Real life stuff. And I need to take my meds as well, because every time I turn my head, the world sort of stays still for a second, then follows me.
Oh,
it's getting a bit worse as I look at the screen, but I'll be all right. I'm moaning about it again, Dad, did I tell you about my ear? What do we think then? So it's all... We've identified the structures and the tiers. Do you think that it's a sort of reasonable... Would you sort of like say that that's a good way of understanding and breaking down how the far right operate?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. What I would do in terms of the visuals, I'd actually invert it. Because essentially the core of it is that leadership group, and then it radiates outwards.
You're not first to say that.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah. Well, okay. And that's fine. By the way, it works either way. I'm just saying...
No, it's a good call. It's a really good call.
For some people, visually, that would make sense, because those people are the core of it, and then they expand it out. And in terms of numbers, I would imagine, there are more of those people on the outside than there are on the inside, but...
Exactly. Yeah. The elite groups, the tier ones, they're a sort of more exclusive group. You've got to be born into the right sort of places for that to happen. Yeah. In most cases, or inherit something. But the other tiers, I mean, like anyone can be an auditor at the bottom. That's it. Anyone can do that. Not anyone can be a fringe political leader, but you know, it gets more and more exclusive as you go up to the top. Yeah. But and the final thing is, with it being all sort of doom and gloom, now that we've identified it and we know what's what in terms of like from the lower levels upwards to the top. What do you think can be done about it? Like, personally, I think that there's a couple of really easy things. So, like, YouTube moderation, for example. Like, if not just YouTube specifically as an app, not to call that one app out, but social media moderation. The algorithm favouring this ethno-cultural war talking points over everything else. Because, I mean, I get it. You know, when there's a fight at the playground, everyone wants to look. I understand it's a money-making thing, but it's also been a huge, like, the Department for Strategic Dialogue, or the something for Strategic Dialogue, the Institute, that was it, the Institute of Strategic Dialogue, put auditors specifically during an interview that one of them was giving, a guy from there, he was a professor from there, he was giving an interview about auditors on Channel 4 about, you know, because occasionally the mainstream picks up on this phenomenon, and not enough, by the way, just simply not enough. But yeah, he was putting these guys at Tier 5 as like a really big driving force behind the rise of hate crimes. Why it's so normalised now, that Overton window is shifting, because you've got this cult of personality around certain individuals that are walking around high streets telling you about how smelly and disgusting these lefties are, and how it's stochastic. They're creating the environment whereby violence and things are much more likely to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that YouTube moderation, on just the lower end of the scale, some of that would help a lot. That would alleviate some of the pressure on it. I do think. Oh, cutie patootie.
I need to know. Tell me about the dog. We need to know about the dog.
Oh, this is Abe. He's an idiot. This is Abe. He's my house hippo.
Oh, look at him. Legend.
He's about 4 or 5. He's 5 years old now. He's my busy mate. He's my best mate in the world.
Absolutely.
That's the calmest I've ever seen him. He has a very serious issue, and it is an issue sometimes. He's too happy. He will wreck a place just spinning and like knocking kids over so he can pin them down and lick their face, and it's like, no, you can't do that.
Oh,
but he loves everybody. He loves everybody too much, almost too much.
Yeah.
He's an absolute gent.
Speaking of, we've got a little sleeper here. We've got the Milo.
Hello, lad.
There's the Milo, and the Loki is outside. Loki's the husky. He is outside, currently underneath the caravan, because there's a big draft under there, and he loves it, and he gets to see all the people past. So that's a good thing.
Nice.
But yeah, what else? Just quickly before we leave, what's the good news of it?
Well, I'm not sure there is massive good news. What I will say, in addition to the point you were making about moderation on places like YouTube, I actually think there's a role for the government to step in and do something. Now, unfortunately, this would require the current government to stand up to a billionaire, and that's not going to happen. But what should happen was, on the same basis that Russia Today were closed or were banned from Britain, on the basis that they were a foreign entity trying to manipulate British democracy and that were a threat from outside, I think Twitter should be banned in the UK. It is a foreign-funded disinformation organisation. It is obviously meant as a destabilisation tool being used by a very rich man for his own nefarious ends. A man who has already shown that he's
working. Yeah,
exactly
against our interest.
Yeah. He's already shown that he's prepared to undermine democracy by buying the American election for a fucking fascist. I think he should be stopped from doing so here in the UK. I also think he should be banned from the UK. If Cenk Uygur is a threat, how the fuck is Elon Musk not a threat?
That's crazy, wasn't it? Wasn't that absolutely insane?
Mad.
What the hell?
Yeah.
They were like, Rockers and his family too. It was just unbelievable.
I hope it's done him a lot of good, you know. I hope he's picked up a lot of support because of it.
I imagine so, because he's got way more like normie coverage, so I'm sure he'll have gotten a completely brand new audience from that. Yeah,
I hope so.
Because of course,
I hope that is.
As is always the case, the Streisand effect, if the government want to close it down, it's obviously going to be massive. Like, literally, they learn nothing, these people. When they tried to stop Kneecap playing at Glastonbury, they literally, Kneecap did the right thing. Their intro was just clips of politicians saying we need to ban Kneecap. Because that's perfect marketing. They're an anti-authority group of artists. Of course they want a clip of the Prime Minister saying these people are evil. Why? That's the best advertising they could possibly get. What are you doing?
Punk rocks about.
Yeah, exactly.
As we were saying about the Twitter thing as well, I think that could apply. We could go a bit further as well and maybe apply that to sort of mainstream media and things, and stop foreign investment in mainstream media.
Yeah.
Because they're not all British institutions. They are, and this is the information that we use
And
make the decision to elect our leaders, and and it creates the environment we're in.
And they should be
influence on the social media level, all the way up to the mainstream level. Should be something that's like British institutions should be British institutions.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, we talked about the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail's ownership group are based in Monaco for tax reasons. How the fuck is that okay? How is that okay to have a foreign entity owning and operating the most popular newspaper in the country?
Yeah, it's outrageous. Absolutely fucking outrageous. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
No, it's just wrong. I mean, they could just cause so much. They could literally sway people's political leanings. They can affect what they buy, how they buy it, how they treat other people. The power in newspapers and in the media is fucking immense, isn't it? It's such a powerful thing together.
Yeah.
It needs some fucking control. It's some more control than it has at the moment, I think.
And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse with AI, unfortunately, because again, the government aren't going to fucking regulate it, and so the same misinformation feedback loop. Mad.
Yeah. Sorry about the noise.
And so the human centipede continues, and introducing the internet into this, into the age of newspapers and things like that, it's only making things worse. And I do think we need a lot more moderation. But with conversations like this, I think people are a bit more enlightened. They can understand things more.
If we want to end off on a positive, it's this, right? As long as there are good people prepared to stand up against it, as long as there are good, honest people, and they don't even have to be particularly leftist. I'm happy to stand alongside principled liberals who give a shit about democracy and things like that. As long as there are good people who can stand up against it, then the human spirit won't be killed by these bastards.
Well
that
said.
is a fucking beautiful note. Dad, hit me with 11 P's and we're done. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin.
Thank you for having me on. Everyone go and follow a couple of Burkes immediately.
Proper enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
So much. And vice versa, anyone that's watching that doesn't know Kevin, which I would be silly at this point, I guess. So go and make sure you're following. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that sent in. We've got 17. Sorry I didn't get to read out everybody, but we've got a whole bunch of new members and it's really cool. Thank you all for everything.
We'll make up for it next time, I promise.
Yeah, we will.
We'll catch it all next time. Guys. Thanks for coming, everybody. Love and peace. Love and peace.
Love and peace.
And there you go. Just before you fuck off, Slowback, well done.
Okay.
Well done. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, everyone. We'll do it again sometime, yeah?
Yeah.
I wish we would. Open invitation anytime, my friend. Anytime.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day and that. Sarah,
take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, man.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that was lovely. Also, don't think I didn't notice the bastard who donated there and said thank you for having Chris Farley on your stream. I noticed. Yeah, I fucking saw it. Okay? Cheeky bastards. Anyway. Thank you, Andrew Luke. I saw that you were commenting and stuff. Everyone go and follow Andrew as well. If you want to link your channel and all that shit, please do, Andy. All power to you. Yes, there are things that happened. There were noises and all sorts. I turned the thing off though because it was making noise. That what a great sentence, Kev. Well done. You are a professional communicator, you knob. Thank you, Andrew, for gifting us. No, for subscribing. Thank you, Andrew, for gifting 5 memberships. Antifa Vegan Boy for being a member. And Andrew, who says, looks like hunting game for a laugh. I don't know what the fuck that means, Andrew, but thank you. Thank you, Michael, with ACouple's Beadle tax. Fuck you. What happened here? Something happened. Stop making noise, Discord, you prick. fuck's sake. That was Ollie said Farley. Tattling is patriotism. True. True. Snitches get britches? I don't know what that means. Thank you, Jim Speak, with 5 memberships. Thank you, Antifa Vegan Boy, with 10 as well. Much love to ya. And thank you, Andrew, for tattling. Thank you, Sozzled Snake, with Bitty Bits. Although that was from yesterday, apparently. I didn't stream yesterday. What? Or did I? Did I stream yesterday? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. My brain hurts. Anyway. No. No, yeah, I didn't think I did. But my memory's really bad. By the way, I might pop on very, very late / very early to do a football watch-along thing. Possibly. Which I'll do sort of periodically during the World Cup, I imagine. Because tonight is America versus Paraguay. So we're very much on Team Paraguay. Yes? America, you have made this the most inhospitable, shitty World Cup imaginable. I'm going to support Paraguay. You fucking bellends. Only Mexico and Canada matches. What do you mean? Scotland versus Haiti is tonight. Is that? I thought that was tomorrow. Have I gone absolutely mental? Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire. Well, that just goes to show you how little how little capitalism actually benefits the worthwhile. In all honesty. Oh, breaking news. Yeah, Scotland's tomorrow. Or should I say technically Sunday, but like tomorrow night / morning. So yeah. 2 a.m. UK time on Sunday morning. So basically, if you're on DGen hours like me, it's essentially tomorrow. Because I won't have gone to sleep. So yeah, it's then. Anyway, some breaking news. We have updated breaking news on definitely rapist. The man is a rapist. He is a fucking rapist. Thomas Partey, formerly of Arsenal and or Atletico Madrid, has been denied entry to Canada. Ghana midfielder Thomas Partey will miss his nation's first World Cup game in Toronto against Panama after being denied entry to Canada. Partey, 32, has pled not guilty to 7 charges of rape and 1 account of sexual assault relating to allegations by 4 women between 2020 and 2022. He is due to stand trial next year. In a statement, FIFA confirmed the former Arsenal player, who is now with Spanish side Villarreal, fuck you Villarreal, will be unable to travel from Ghana's training base in Boston, having had his visa application was refused by the Canadian government. World Footballing Body added, FIFA is not involved in the immigration processes of host countries, including the adjudication of visas. The host government ultimately determines who receives a visa and who is admitted to the country. Lol. Like, maybe don't be a rapist then, it would be my suggestion. If you don't be a rapist, maybe countries won't block you. And yeah, what a surprise, a rapist going to America. Yeah, crazy, I know. It's almost as if the president's a rapist or something. So, on that bombshell. Yeah, I might be, like I say, I might be back. If I am, it'll be like 1:30 in the morning UK time, ish. And I'll do Paraguay, America. If not, I'll definitely be back for Scotland, Haiti. 100%. That's gotta happen. And by the way, Scotland, don't fuck around. No offence to Haiti, but like, come on. Scotland, for the love of God. You can't play that well in getting there and then fuck it up, okay? Stop it. Canada, Bosnia in an hour. Yeah, true. A lot of war crimes going on. Who's going? I was going to send you over to Vara News, but I see that Michael whatchamacallit's hosting, so fuck that. So basically, on YouTube, go in peace. I'm not sending you anywhere. But everyone also, you should go and follow. Should go and follow a couple of Burkes who are good lads. Yes, who's going on Twitch? Who is this person? I don't know who that is. Who is this? I don't know. I don't know who half these fucking people are. Go over to Lisa is Learning. I will see you all. Yes, oh, there's the go and follow, go and check out Turn Left as well, because Curtis and Helena are doing the normal island thing, which should be cool. Well, it'd be fucking depressing, I'm sure, because it's about Britain, but you live and learn. Yeah, I'll maybe see you later. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you enormously for all of your support. Thank you for watching. No pass around.